What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Dota 2 commentary. Happy New Year's, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic time, and hopefully you guys didn't go too crazy. I just hung out with friends, and we had a good time, but hopefully you guys stayed safe, stayed healthy, and you can join me for this cast between EG and We Has Asian. Now, we as Asian, one of those sort of unknown teams who rose up during one of the DreamHacks or one of the defenses and just really made a strong impact, qualified for a lot of the tournaments, but unfortunately one of their sponsors did not pan out as expected, so they could not qualify for it, or they could not go to the land final of the Frag by Thor Open, and ever since then they've been on a bit of a slump. I think a couple of their players are stands in. Yeah, look at all these stand-ins on their side, holy crap. Um, so yeah, hopefully they'll still put up a decent fight. I haven't seen EG play too much recently, but that's because ever since, uh, I guess, yeah, there really hasn't been too much turns that EG can play in at the moment. I mean, the Defense 3 is going on, which is from this tournament right now. And if you guys want to watch this match from another perspective, check out Toby's VOD on youtube.com/joindota and all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't think it's EG's lack of commitment to Dota 2. I think it's just because there haven't been any tournaments that they can play in. But they're looking to make an extremely sharp impact in this tournament, I'm sure, I imagine. And hopefully they can do well and represent American Dota well. Now, we as Asian had the first pick first man, so they probably won't ban out the Magnetar. They want to get up for their first pick. Meanwhile, EG ban out the Bow saying, alright, Demon has, like, one of the best Bow but we don't want to give We as Asian the chance. And maybe we don't even like Magnetar, so we'll just ban it out altogether. But still pretty curious to see that EG have not first banned Magnetar. We'll see if they actually let him through. May they have some sort of countermeasure. Maybe they have a super secret strategy, you guys, against Magnetar. If it is, I am literally on the edge of my seat. Which will be very difficult because I'm sitting on a very, very reclining chair. Like, I think this chair is probably like $10. It's like one of those beanbag chairs, but not really a beanbag chair. But EG is going to bat the Darkseer. Clearly, they think that Darkseer is much more of a problem. So we as Asian, 3, 2, 1, Magnus. Alright, just a little bit off there. Just a little bit off there. But if Magnus is not first picked up here, I will literally eat my hat. And of course, you're just going to take my word for it if Magnus is not the first pick up here by We as Asian. So, yeah. Hopefully I don't have to do that, because hats, I heard, are not very tasty, although if you put enough soy sauce on anything will taste good. I mean, during the New Year's Eve party, my friend who's fancies himself a chef made fish by just taking fish and then putting a bunch of soy sauce on it, calling it a glaze, and that's basically what it was. It was just fish covered with soy sauce, and you know what? It tasted pretty good, so I'm just saying soy sauce plus anything will taste good, as long as anything is edible. And not completely disgusting. But hey. But yeah, actually my friend's a decent cook, so don't want to hurt his feelings too hard. Although you can take it if he's a man. EG gonna pick up Chen and Leshak, so they're saying we're gonna push. So this Chen, we're gonna see Milk Chen. It's been quite a while since I've seen a Milk Chen. And I'm a bit surprised that EG has not been running with Milk Chen more, but I guess Chen, ever since the Holy Persuasion change, really, he's still a very, very powerful hero, but he doesn't really have the impact. He needs a lot more levels, and he can't really gank as much as he wants to do in the early game. He sort of needs to sit in the jungle for quite a bit and get those levels up of Test of Faith, of Holy Persuasion, of Hand of God. And by the time he does that, it's approaching the start of the mid-game, where Chen is still very strong, but loses some of his effectiveness, where his creeps definitely cannot stand up to some of the heroes on the map. Meanwhile, Leshak, I feel like is still a very balanced, very viable hero. Just doesn't really have the range, I guess, and he needs too many items as a primary support. Well, he doesn't need too many items, I guess. He just needs more. He needs items more than the average support, say like a Shadow Demon or a Jakiro. Jakiro has long range, is naturally tanky. Leshak is very squishy, doesn't really have the longest range, and can't really stand in the middle of battle for too long. We as Asian playing pretty standard, picking up the Shadow Demon, one of the strongest supports in this version, and Luna, definitely one of the most popular carries in this version. So we as Asian, even if they are playing with 3 standards, they're picking with what works this version so far in the Western scene. And I'm a bit surprised this game was actually played just today, so this is the first game of the new year that I'm casting. But yeah, no NA ban or pick. So maybe neither of these teams are too comfortable. Maybe the other teams are just daring each other to pick NA to show a super secret strategy that will be stolen by the CIA of Dota and just used to great effect to destroy the world. Who knows? But NA has not been picked or banned, and EG gonna pick up the Dragon Knight. Now I'm just gonna say this: I'm disappointed in EG. They picked up Leshrac, so this is already the failed the Knight strat that they are not running. But they usually pull out the Knight strat when they are really lagging too hard, and this is a European game. I remember they pulled out the Knight strat because they were trying out for the G1 League, and the G1 League required everybody to play on the Asian server, so they did that because the Knight strat doesn't really need too much latency in order to play successfully. If you don't know what the Knight strat is, EG just picks up all the Knight heroes. It was first around in Dota 1. It's Holy Knight, Shen, Dragon Knight, Omni Knight, Chaos Knight, and one more Knight that I can't, honestly, for the life of me, remember off the top of my head. But we as Asian just gonna ban out that Omni Knight, saying, you ain't gonna own us with this Knight strategy this time, Evil Geniuses, even if you do sort of break that tradition with the Leshrac. So I'm sure EG slightly miffed, but understand that that Knight strat is too OP and needs to be completely removed from the game because it is obviously the best thing ever. Only thing that can top it is the Troll strat, which is Huskar, Dazzle, Troll Warlord when he comes out, Bat Rider, Witch Doctor, or some combination of those heroes. But yeah, EG gonna ban out the Lina, so they're saying, alright, which other support can help out Luna in the Shrine? I'm surprised to see no Twin Head Dragon ban just yet, but still, 2 bans for each team. Meanwhile, we as Asian, Chen will be in jungle, Leshrac will most likely be support. Dragon Knight could be safe lane, could be mid lane, so he's pretty versatile in how he can lane. So we as Asian have a little bit less versatility on how they can ban in comparison to EG. EG sort of know that Magnus is probably going to be solo mid, and those 2 heroes are components of the giant, so we'll ban out supports, we'll ban out offlaners. Meanwhile, EG, or we as Asian, have a little bit less certainty just because Dragon Knight can lane in a different variety of capacities. Usually, solo mid is a strong version of Dragon Knight just because he sort of wants to get going ASAP, and he needs a lot of levels in order to do that. But if EG just really want to push in with the level 6 Dragon Knight, that's pretty much all they need, so he could potentially be in the Trine because he won't need that much experience. But we as Asian, anticipating that Dragon Knight's going to be a safe lane farmer, they're going to ban out the Queen of Pain. Alright, so that might force EG to, I guess, perhaps lane the Dragon Knight mid, which isn't really a bad thing. I think he does quite well against Magnus, but probably can't keep up with the shockwave spam unless he's full-on Punoid bottle crowing. But we'll have to see. But yeah, Happy New Year's everybody. I hope to bring you a lot more content, and I'm going to try to not make so many sort of predictions on what I can do. I need to sort of understand the limits of my capacity, so I'm not going to say, alright, this is coming out soon, guys. But yeah. But one project is coming out soon because Lumi is working on his other things. So I'm just saying, you know, after A, there's B. Enough said. Alright, we as Asian gonna ban out Furion. Not too sure why. I guess they really feel the push strat would be very, very strong. So Furion, definitely a strong pusher. A strong ganker as well. Probably wouldn't be in the jungle because Chen would be in jungle. So we as Asian's ban does make a bit more sense. But still, I think there are other strong pushers still in the pool. They could pick up Enigma. Enigma, a very powerful pusher in his own right. You know, we as Asian don't really have the strongest anti-push. They have Shockwave and Shadow Poison. But I don't anticipate Shao Dian picking up too many ranks to Shadow Poison. Really wants to Soul Catcher up. And EG is going to ban out the Jakiro. Makes a lot of sense. Like I said, Jakiro, probably the best support to pair with Shao Dian in the Trine, unless you get something like a Disruptor or anything like that. You know, we as Asian going to pick up that NA right here, Nyx Assassin, who has just been a terror through the Chinese scene. A little less highly regarded in the Western scene, but still definitely a powerful hero. Meanwhile, how will EG respond? EG definitely one of those creative teams, not afraid to try out different things to see what works, and probably feel a bit more flexibility considering that we as Asians is playing with 3 stand-ins, as you can see, Sexy Bambo, Nino, and 10? And EG's going full-out push Lycan. I still think Lycan is an extremely viable hero, but teams just seem to be afraid how they can lane him. He's sort of awkward in that regard, but once he gets going, he's still almost as powerful as he ever has been. The only real change to his late game is that when he respawns in Aegis, he no longer has that speed boost if he would die in wolf form. But other than that, his late game is still as powerful as ever, but it's a bit more tricky to lane him. But they're going to pick up Tinker, potentially one of the best anti-pushes in the game, but only if he picks up Boots of Travel, and maybe a Dagger or Force Staff so he can really spam those March Machines safely, even if he doesn't get Boots or Dagger or Force Staff. As long as he stands in the right position, it will just mow down creep waves very, very quickly. And EG is going to pick up Sniper. Wow. And this is a pretty potent push strat because if you look at it, I mean, the only thing EG is sort of lacking is in teamfight, but they have strong gank in the form of Dragon Knight's 400 range initiation Dragon Tail. Not as strong as Realization, but they have strong pushing and they have strong late game. They have Lycan, Dragon Knight, and Sniper, so it's going to be really interesting to see how we as Asian can cope with this. They're going to have to make something happen in the mid game in order to really break down EG's strat, otherwise they will lose in the late game. And I don't think they can win the early game either. The only downfall of EG's lineup is that it doesn't really have any strong gankers, and the lanes, I guess? The lanes are a little bit iffy, but I think it could be solved. We'll see how they're going to lane the Lycanthrope. Demon's playing the Lycanthrope, so he's probably going to do a Silver Bear-like thing. He's going to use the Wolves to pull the creeps, and then bring him to his own tower. So Demon playing the Lycanthrope. This should be pretty exciting to see high-level Lycanthrope play, but I'll introduce the players and the teams in just a second. As soon as I remember which key is to bring down the tab. Usually I just click that tab, but I'll just do F5 here. So we're going to have Coach Kva on We As Asian playing the Tinker, Sexy Rambo is playing the Magnus, Tan is playing the Luna, Ats is playing the Shadow Demon, or Atsi, and Nino is playing the Nyx Assassin. Me on EG, we have Fear playing the Sniper, Jo playing the Dragon Knight, Demon playing the Lycanthrope, Beta is playing the Leshrac, and Melk is playing the Chen. So Jo playing the Dragon Knight means we're not going to see mid-solo Dragon Knight. We're actually going to see a safe lane farming Dragon Knight, and Fear is going to take to the mid lane with the Sniper. I guess in this strategy, Dragon Knight doesn't really need as much experience. He only really needs to hit level 6. Sniper, meanwhile, wants to get that Shrapnel maxed up as soon as possible, because 1800 range on Shrapnel is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Meanwhile, Magnus saving his skill point. Usually pick up a point in Skewer, and Magnus is going to go in the off lane where he's a lot more powerful since the nerfs. A lot less deadly, because Skewer only has 600 range, so provided that one of your supports are in the correct position, then they can pick him off rather easily. And considering Sexy Rambo was the off-lane player for Mouse, but was a mid-solo player for AL during the brief stint he was there for, it's pretty surprising to see that Sexy Rambo switch back to the off-lane, but I guess that's just his role in this game. He is just standing. Meanwhile, I think Tinker fares decently against, or Sniper fares decently against Tinker. One of the main annoyances to deal with Tinker is that the Marcher Machine will just rip through, but Sniper can outrange it once he gets enough levels in to take aim. But the problem is he needs to get those levels. Laser will also do an incredible job in terms of disrupting Sniper's last hits and really just making it a pain in the ass to deal with. And meanwhile, you can see Sexy Rambo can't really approach the lane at all because of that reduced skewer range. Thank God, but Magnus is still ridiculously powerful. And meanwhile, this is a pretty strong anti-Magnetar lineup. I think you can have Holy Persuasion or Test of Fate send somebody back if it gets too low. Meanwhile, it looks like Lycan abandoning the bottom lane altogether, just going to the jungle. So we're not going to see the bear creep pulls. We're just going to, or the wolf creep pulls. We're just going to see Luna free farming it up. I wonder if Luna's getting a fast hand Midas. Should be lasting every single creep, but actually Jo is out farming Luna at this moment, but that might just because he has more creeps to deal with at the moment. And Jo also has a Coiling Blade, so he shouldn't be able to miss any last hits as long as he is not too contested. Meanwhile, Fear, playing very carefully, is going to max take aim, but I guess in this capacity he wants to get max take aim and max headshot, so he's going to need a lot of levels. That's why we're going to see in the mid lane rather than the Dragon Knight, who I think could fare slightly better against the Tinker if he really had to, but keep in mind, March Machines will just rip through Dragon Knight until Dragon Knight maxes that Dragon's Blood, so I guess this mid lane definitely works. But Tinker is going to have relatively easy access to all the runes on the map. And the real question is, when are these teams going to push? I think We As Asians going to have to be very careful on how they play this, because once Chen and Leshrac get going, They can push down these two towers faster than probably a Luna Shadow Demon, and NA lane can push down this single tower. So we as Asian gonna have to be very careful on how they position the creeps. Luckily for them, Demon is jungling, so if they want to push out a bit further, then Demon won't get experience anyway. And Demon's actually gonna creep pull, maxing that Pharaoh Impulse rather than getting some points in the Howl. So just going for the stand like and throw build. I would have thought he might have been able to get Howl earlier, just because he's doing a lot of pulls, but I guess this is a better jungling build overall. And they don't really need his help in the plus damage when they go for the early game pushes. And the other real question for We as Asian is how fast can Tinker get his boots of travel? And against Sniper, he should do a relatively okay job as long as he doesn't get interrupted too many times by that headshot. So annoying to deal with, and it does significant damage to boot. But he's going to use that March Machine Fan to control the lane, to push the creep equilibrium, and get easy access to the runes. And you can see We as Asian actually pushing the creep equilibrium a little bit more. Perhaps they're anticipating that EG wants to push soon. Perhaps they just see, okay, Demon's actually not doing anything in this bottom lane. We're just gonna, push out a bit more. So once the push does come in, they'll have short distance to travel when they decide to take that tier 1 tower. But even then, they definitely won't be able to take this tier 2 before EG takes this tier 2. But that might depend on how fast speed is level. Almost level 3, so he still will be able to push towers relatively quickly. And actually, Realization looks like they're going to go on the offensive, but Demon is actually approaching the bottom lane. He has 2 points in the Wolves with that armor boost, so they can tank a little bit more damage. And the glyph is already popped by EG, so EG maybe not expecting to push this early, but we can see JL already going down. Almost level 6, has a strength shred, so he's immensely tanky. Meanwhile, Bambo, only level 2, Magnus really not having a good time in this lane. Meanwhile, Lesh just pushing down the towers. Beat is positioning himself for the Edict to try to get the maximum damage on the tower, but there are no creeps to absorb the damage anyway. And Demon can't really do anything to prevent this pushing. Luna, the reason why she's very popular is not only is she a powerful pusher with that early aura, but she also scales to the late game. She has a ridiculous nuke and a pretty strong teamfight ultimate in the form of Eclipse, but so far it is 0-0. And Tinker is going to do some ancient stacking to get his boots of travel as soon as possible. And considering he is on the Radiant, he can stack the Ancients much more safer, or much more quickly, rather than transitioning all the way to this part where he'd waste a lot of time and a lot of experience. Meanwhile, I don't think EG really cares if We as Asian gets too many towers, because they have the better late game, and they definitely have the pushing that can sort of accelerate the gold. They can definitely push in, and considering Realization doesn't really have any strong anti-push until Tinker gets a boost of travel, but it looks like Demon's going to be a bit of trouble. Here comes the Soul Catcher and the Disruption. Demon's going to have to juke out of the way, but he does get stunned. Demon is going to die, first blooded. Had no mana, but still, nice Disruption by Atsi. He is going to survive. One more shot would have finished him, but nice position by Atsi. Manages to pick up that tower, and you can see Sniper actually doing a reasonable job against the Tinker. Assassinate, not going to fly in just yet. So EG, even though they lost first blood, I think they're okay with this. They have the better late game, like I mentioned. And JO is pretty much receiving all the farm in the world. Meanwhile, Luna, is she saving up for Midas? Is she saving up for something else? I'm not really too sure at this point. Magnus is going to gank around with the Clarity Pop. Looks like Fear is going to be in a lot of trouble. Will he get scared back? Nice body blocking by the Magnetar as the Machines does fly in, catching everybody on this side. Beautiful positioning. Here comes Nino, and Fear does take the fall. So again, Realization does have stronger ganking. Does have a stronger ganking lineup, and I think they're going to have to fully expose that, or fully exploit that, in order to really just stop the incredible pushing. Because once this EG train starts rolling, it ain't gonna stop. Not gonna take a look at the gold graph just yet. Should be even tower kills. And considering Milk is jungling, I anticipate that EG actually has a slight gold advantage. Just slight, but really. EG also, because they have Milk jungling, have a bit of an experience advantage. Considering Demon was able to leech more experience than Sexy Bambo, that does speak to that difference just there. Meanwhile, Demon just still playing safe. Wants to get that level 6 so he can escape out of trouble in a moment's notice. Unfortunately, as well as do get Lee Sin Beam right in the face, even with that 50% spell reduction, they still have paper thin HP, die very quickly. Meanwhile, Fear picks up a very early Helm of the Dominator. Interesting. He might use it to stack. He might just use it to get more creeps for the push. Hello, Dominator, not really a common first item on Sniper. I think Sniper, if you really want to go for all turtle, and before Medusa's introduced, I think Sniper is the hero you want to pick up. But it's just so risky because he's so easy to gank, and he's just pretty easy to deal with. But Demon's gonna go to town. Already finished off Shadow Demon, gonna go on to Luna. Luna out of mana, but Demon is gonna get trapped in. Luckily, his wolves avenge him. Luna did get the experience, but Demon did pick up additional kill bounty because the tower did get the last hit on Demon. So nicely done by Demon, picking up a double kill. And you can see Demon definitely a very strong player. But back to Sniper, I think he's definitely a hero if you want to commit to the late game. It's one of your best options, but why really pick him when you can pick something like a Phantom Lancer who can get going a bit earlier? Sniper needs damage, he needs attack speed, he needs survivability. He just needs too much. But yeah, I think using him in a push strat is definitely probably the right way to go. Shrapnel, 1800 range is actually quite ridiculous. You can actually use it from here to pretty much just like there. I think might be underestimating or overestimating my distances, but still, it is pretty ridiculous range nonetheless. Meanwhile, Jo hitting this tier 2 tower on the top lane for that poison damage with the help of Edict. Really not too much Sexy Remo could do to defend it by himself, especially since he's not even level 6. But actually, they do manage to defend it because Edict could not push the tower fast and because Atsi did teleport in. So nicely done by We As Asian, saving their tower thus far. And meanwhile, Luna did go for that fast Midas into Tranquils. Not too sure how I feel about this. I mean, I think We As Asian's best shot is in the mid game by ganking. And Midas, even though it will boost Luna's experience immensely, sort of indicates that you want to sit back a while and farm. But you also have a Tinker, so you can sort of sit back and farm. I don't know, Tinker is one of those carries who is such an interesting factor. If he picks up a Hex, then you pretty much can lock down one hero permanently. But still, he doesn't do very much damage. Well, March Machines does a lot of damage, but he doesn't do a super amount of damage until he gets an additional mana regeneration item to really fuel that. He has a Soul Ring, he's close to that Boots of Travel, so I guess We As Asian is in a decent position. You know, Beat is hiding in the woodwork. I think he's just trying to leech experience at the moment. Might also be setting up a Splitter because Jo is going to come in level 8. Jo got a hand of Midas as well. And meanwhile, Demon and Milk gonna go to town on this Roshan. Looks like Bambo might be in a bit of trouble. Will Jo transform? His transform is on cooldown. And you can see Radiant did spot the movement unless the smoke was popped by Milk. But again, Radiant can't really leave their lanes. Otherwise, EG will just push down those towers so quickly. And that means Demon picks up a relatively free Aegis, and you can see already level 8 despite being in the hard lane. Lycan is still almost as good as he ever has been, as NA does pick up a solo kill on the top lane against the Leshrac. Meanwhile, Melk picked up the Arcane Boots. Imagine he's going to go for Mechanism soon after. And meanwhile, Shadow Poison going to be skilled. What level is Shadow Poison? It is just level 1, but he is only level 4, so you can't really count on him too much. I always feel bad for Shouting players in sort of an awkward position where they're not going to get too much gold because they always by far have like the lowest net worth. But actually in this game, Beatiz does have the lower net worth. And you can see Gold Graph spiking a bit more heavily towards EG, but that's because of the Roshan kill. Experience Graph definitely in EG's favor because of the hand Midas on jail, and also because Melk has been jungling, and because they took Roshan. Meanwhile, Luna looks to be in a bit of trouble. There is going to be a rotation of We As Asian players coming in. NA pop the smoke so he can use Vendetta when it is up. Vendetta, keep in mind, only has a 20-second duration. Demon is going to go to town on that bottom tower. It looks like Edict is going to be used. Denied by Luna. Nicely done. Eclipse is going to be used as well. Trying to slow Demon in place and also trying to save his own life. Tinker teleports in with the Boots of Travel. Unanticipated by EG. How fast that Tinker gets the Boots of Travel. Nice juking by Demon. He is going to escape. He is going to save the Aegis. Nicely done indeed. And Luna did pick up the deny, so good plays by both teams. But Demon managing to escape definitely might be a bit of a mistake by We As Asian. Actually, not really a mistake. Just a really good play by Demon right there. And actually, Sniper gonna max headshot instead of maxing shrapnel. Headshot does give you ridiculous damage. 90 damage on a successful proc. I think 40%. But yeah, I thought in a pushing on it he would have maxed shrapnel because that does do damage to tires, and looks like Luna is going to be in a lot of trouble. Lycanthrope Wolf form is on cooldown. Here comes rotation by Tinker, gonna missile spam and march spam to try to dissuade from EG players from approaching. Nicely done by Kochkva, as Luna gonna run into the Roshan pit. Not too sure what 10 is doing. Is gonna pick up an item, I suppose. As Sniper gonna cast a defensive shrapnel, is just gonna teleport out of there, but the net does cancel the teleport. Not too sure why Tan was staying there for so long, but he is gonna take the fall. Meanwhile, Fear does kill Magnus in the meanwhile. Jail's gonna come in, does get stunned by the NA spiked Carapace, gonna get mana burn as well. So really, I think we're seeing we as Asians' lack of communication with each other coming into a bit of an effect right here, but it was just 2-for-1 and they did kill Fear, so overall I guess it could have gone worse. But with Magnus dead, how are they going to defend this tower? That's really going to be an awkward choice, as Tinker actually getting pretty close to a Blink Dagger or a Force Staff. So once he gets that, it'll be much more easy to defend that. As soon as you blink in, or you just Force Staff away, you can just spam that marsh from a safe location. But Demon is getting a lot of farm in the bottom lane. Imagine Demon's going to go for Necro 3 here, rather than anything like a carry build. They have Sniper to carry, they have Dragonite to carry. Lycan probably just wants to push. And actually, now that I think about it, I wonder why EG didn't pick up anything like a Brood. I guess Lycan is just better at early Roshaning, but with the help of Chen, I think Brood can Roshan just as well. Brood can definitely handle herself in the offlane a bit better, but I think Lycan in the late game has a bit more explosive power, and definitely could be a stronger split pusher, and definitely harder to gank sometimes once you hit like level 11 or level 16, as Luna is going to be in a world of hurt. She's going to take the fall. Chain stunned perfectly. Luna never stood a chance. You may have 380 base movement speed, or even higher, but still, you can't stand up to that assault. As Luna just gonna go for straight Yasha rather than drums. I like this choice. They need the damage in the early game. They cannot hold out to the late game. I mean, never bet against a Magnus in the late game, but if there was one to bet against a Magnus in the late game, I think Sniper might be a choice, because he will always be outside the Magnetar reverse polarity range, even with that 12 in range skewer. And you can count on Fear always being in a good position for most part. You know, Sexy Rambo, level 8, not even close to that Blink Dagger. Does have the Arcane Boots finish. Keep in mind he was in the offlane, and Skewer no longer ridiculously overpowered in the offlane. But still has reverse polarity. Meanwhile, NA trying to pick off Fear, is going to get the Vendetta, going to get impaled as well. Mana Burn going to fly in. Here comes Atsu, going to get purged. Blink Dagger by Tinker, but he doesn't cast the laser. He does cast laser, but it was a little bit too late. Might have been a lag spike. I'm not too sure why it took so long, but here comes the Assassinate, going to fly in. Going to do a bunch of damage to Tinker. Nice Flame Breath by Jail, finishing off the kill. Impaled to stun the retreating Jail. Overall, a solid gank setup by we as Asian, but unfortunately, Tinker seemed to spaz out a little bit right there. I think he realized, oh, I actually can't get the kill with level 1 laser, because the march actually takes too long. Might not have anticipated the Chen heal being off cooldown. Nice reactions by Malk to save the life of Fear. I'm sure Fear is thanking his lucky stars that Malk was there. With the fast reaction, definitely helped to save his life.
Dyers.
And despite EG having a really strong pushing lineup, they're actually okay with not really pushing. They have 3 towers. The top lane is pretty much all cleared out, and they cleared the bottom tier 1 tower. But they know they have the better late game. They're content to farm up. And Chen, receiving so many levels in jungle, gonna have a fish mechanism up relatively soon. So EG definitely playing for the time. And they know they can do that. Again, Sniper, very, very deadly late game hero. But I don't think he's as good as Phantom Lancer or Void in the late game. He does well against Phantom Lancer, but I don't think overall he has the same usefulness as Phantom Lancer. As Bambo does pick up a kill on Beatez. Not too sure how that happened. I guess Disruption into Purge. No, just a straight up Purge is going to pick up the kill, as it looks like Nino going to spy a wild wolf in the forest. Definitely going to have to get the heck out of there. Meanwhile, Demon's Aegis has timed out. I imagine he is saving up for the Necro Book. You can see the experience graph heavily in EG's favor. That's because they have a jungler. That's because they picked off Roshan, and that's because they're able to split push a lot more effectively. And meanwhile, the goal graph is indicating a similar tale. Meanwhile, last hits and nines, Jail is on top. Luna unfortunately has died a couple of times, and NA is going to circle around to try to get a gank off onto Fear. Fear, knowing that he pushed the creepy going a little bit too far, going to back off right now and get the heck out of there. Will the Vendetta time out? It's going to time out in about a couple of seconds. It is going to time out right now. So Fear didn't see the NA, but nice awareness by Fear to get the heck out of there. Did have a Yasha to help him speed up as well. So he is going to go for that Mantis style. Very, very strong in terms of pushing. Looks like Luna is going to take the fall in the middle lane by just a solo. Dragon Knight going for the Pinor style Shadow Blade. Ooh. And Shadow Blade, pretty useful item on Dragon Knight. Just gives him so much more range to initiate. Can help him split push a lot better. And just makes him overall more difficult to escape. And especially since it gives it increased attack speed. It's definitely not an item you should dismiss as just sort of a fad by the Pinoys. There's a reason why they've been using it for so long. As Mana Burn and Impale going to come in, but definitely not enough to clean up that tower. Tinker going to try to spam that March, I imagine, with the Dagger and the Soul Ring. But it looks like we as Asian, even though it's even in terms of kills, are just being pressured so hard. And Luna 0-4-2 at this stage in the game definitely doesn't help matters. Meanwhile, Milk finished up the raw mech, warding. You can see wards. Ooh. Ooh, look at these wards. Does Milk have the Chen wards? No, he does not. What a bastard. I thought since he was one of the original Chens, he'd have the Chen wards at the very least, but... No, but EG seems to be playing pretty solidly, waiting out the Roshan, gonna respawn in about a minute and a half. Demon is gonna go for that Necro book. Gonna have Necro 2 up relatively soon. You know, Fear just staying in the shadows. Trying to finish up the Mantis style, does finish up the ultimate orb. Meanwhile, NA just constantly staying out of sight, constantly staying in the fog, just try to gank Fear. He's gonna pop the Invis, gonna try to kill Fear. Fear might be in a bit of trouble. Fear senses something's up, is gonna get impaled. Here comes Sexy Rambo with that Skewer and the Wrist Polarity. They know that Milk will be on top with that Hand of God. They're gonna try to pick up the kill anyway, but beautiful Splitter by Beatis. Unfortunately, it was all for naught. Fear does take the fall. Played a little bit too aggressively, but that's the power of NA. He can just sort of jump on you as long as you position yourself correctly, and you'll never see him coming. But still, we as Asians gonna have to do a lot of work. Tinker is farming relatively well. I wonder if he's gonna go for Force Staff or for straight up Hex. Shivas might even be a strong option as well, just because it can help push, help counter push a lot faster. And can help split push a lot better than anything like a Hex, but considering that at the moment EG doesn't have anybody with BKB, Hex is always a viable option. Meanwhile, Jail used a Shadow Blade not to get anything accomplished on the mid lane. And Demon's gonna kill the Roshan relatively easily, does have the Necrobooks and the Wolves and that Greevil. Ain't gonna be staying up too much longer, and looks like Jail is gonna be on the pursuit for the Luna. Gonna get Dragon Tailed. Here comes the burst of that 125 backstab damage. Flame Breath gonna fly in a couple more hits. Jail does clean up the kill. Nicely done by Jail. And you can see Shadow Blade Dragon Knight very, very strong, but Milk is gonna find himself in a world of hurt as Soul Catcher, and just an incredible amount of burst damage means that these creeps no longer have anybody to guide them for a short while, but Milk will guide them from beyond the grave. Tinker is going to die from Beatis. Nice blink by Kachka, as there is going to be teleport in. Sexy Melbo doesn't have reverse polarity. Here comes Jail, and looks like Atsi is going to take the fall. Kachka is going to get his blink dagger. Constantly disabled. Nice chain stunning by Milk, always being on top of that. As NA took the fall as well. Bambo going to try to desperately skewer out of there, but Jail is a bit faster. Can he get the Dragon Tail stun? Sexy Memo going to pop the Illusion Rune. Going to try to do some body blocks. Going to blink out successfully. I think he just bought that blink dagger. Nicely done by Sexy Memo. Does kill Beatis as well. Beautiful play by Bambo, as he managed to pick up the kill, and Jail is going to be thwarting that attempt for a bit longer, but looks like Shrapnel is going to reveal Sexy Bambo. Can he get the lucky headshot proc? No, he cannot. So strong plays by both sides. But EG still have their tower up. Meanwhile, Luna 0-5 has Mantis Tower speed. We'll have the Mantis Tower up relatively soon, and Demon constantly split pushing. So annoying, as level 3 Necrovokes, those towers will just fall so fast. Meanwhile, Kachka just gonna shift Q the blink. So as soon as he teleports in, he'll just blink away to safety. Always gonna blink in the trees. Gonna pick up a Ghost Scepter. Not too sure why. I mean, pretty much all the damage on the side of EG is physical, but it won't really help against the push. I guess it can allow them to survive a bit more and can sort of go up to the creep waves a bit better, but still, I don't know if Ghost Scepter will do enough at this stage in the game, considering Realization I feel is very far behind. You can see the gold graph 10k, the experience graph 12k, and they have a Sniper, Dragonite, and Lycan. It's not like they're going to get weaker as the game goes on. Net worth, Dragonite, and Lycan, and Sniper, top 3 by far. Luna dying 5 times. Even with that fast Hanamize, could not get too much accomplished. GPM, hugely in EG's favor as well. EG seems to be on top of everything, and they're only going to get more and more powerful. Lycan still has 3 more slots to fill. Dragonite still has a bunch of slots to fill once he sells the mice and the drums. And Sniper will only get more and more annoying to deal with as the game goes on. But Realization doing a nice job, 10 to 10, trying to keep up the map control. There is going to be push on the top lane, but meanwhile in the mid lane, Luna explodes once again. Here comes Blink Dagger Sexy Membo with the skewer, but can they actually kill Jail? No, Sexy Membo pops reverse polarity, very defensive, gonna have to get the heck out of there. Assassinate was on cooldown, I imagine Jail is gonna get stunned in place. Meanwhile, Furious is going to town on that mid lane. He is gonna run away with that Yasha and Mantis out. NA is gonna have to get the heck out of there. Demon does clean up the bottom tier 3 tower. In the meantime, Tinker is gonna try to defend, but the racks fall in an instant. Nicely done by Demon. Just so annoying to deal with. This is the power of Lycanthrope. He can do this just as well as he ever could. And this is why I think Lycanthrope is still a very underrated hero. And even before the recent buff to his intelligence and the armor. And Demon, can EG actually clean up a Rax? Luna is not there to defend. This tier 3 tower will take the fall. And will the Rex take the fall as well? I think the fortification was already used. Here comes the skewer backwards. They are going to clean up Jo, but Demon does have Aegis. He is going to survive for a bit longer. Meanwhile, the Rex going to take so much damage from those Melktars. As looks like the Rex are going to survive for now. Luna is up, going to be on the pursuit with the Lucent Beam, canceling the Eclipse, realizing everybody would just be out of range. And meanwhile, Fear just doing some nice job cutting. And I'm going to pop the Spike Carapace, holding Demon and Fear in place for a little bit. But meanwhile, Realization, how are they going to defend this? They have Tinker, but you really want Tinker to be split pushing other lanes against a Lycanthrope. You don't really want to be committed to one lane, and he's going to have to be committed to this bottom lane. Luna going to receive a lot less GPM by farming that. So she wants to farm other lanes in the jungle. Meanwhile, Tinker going to be relegated on this lane. So EG, we're seeing the power of Lycanthrope, why he's such a powerful hero. And considering EG, they have Shen, ridiculously tanky, Dragonite, Sniper. You can't really take them 4v4 so that you can have one hero deal with Lycanthrope. You sort of have to take them 5v4. And at this point, considering the massive tower gold advantage, you can't even take them 5v4. So it's really just a terrible position for Realization to be in. Definitely not something you sort of want a team with 3 stands to be in, because they must be sculling. Atsi gonna get initiated by the Lothar's Edge Dragonite, gonna die. One more hit, it does pop the Ghost Scepter. Gonna cast a Disruption as well. Can they get rebuttal kill? No, Jo is gonna be just fine. Jo only using a little bit of mana on that. And he's gonna hand him ice. He's gonna be A-okay. Meanwhile, Demon gonna go for the heart. So he's gonna be, I mean, he's already ridiculously difficult to kill. Gonna be even more ridiculous to kill. So EG revealing a very powerful strategy. Not too sure if the defense 3 group stages was the best way to reveal the strategy, because I think it is extremely powerful. But definitely another strategy that EG can pull out at a moment's notice. Maybe they're just saying, okay, you try to ban on one of our strats, we have all of these strategies to rely back on. And EG looking very, very deadly. 15k gold difference, 12k experience difference. Hero levels heavily in EG's favor. Net worth heavily in EG's favor as well. And unfortunately, Luna 1-6 finished the Mantis style. Luna and Tinker can definitely hold out against creeps, but once it's creeps and heroes, once Sniper actually starts hitting for damage, which he will do now that he has Demon Edge building towards either the crit, the Daedalus, or the MKB. Looks like Tinker going to teleport. Sniper, will he get the headshot proc? Kachiko just going to blink to safety. This is just going to be A-okay. We got Roshan gonna spawn relatively soon. And you can see Fear actually used the Helmet Dominator, not to stack, just to pick up an Alpha Wolf to help amplify the push and help amplify his damage. He actually hurts for quite a decent amount, but March Machine's doing a nice job being super annoying. Meanwhile, Heart has been fished on Demon, so Fear is content to just farm up wherever he wants, because now Demon can just sort of walk in with this team and just sort of own We As Asians barracks. We As Asians are gonna defend their barracks to their dying breath. Can they get the defense off? They really need to get a pick off with the NA. Is there a gem up? There are just sentry wards up on EG. Always on the lookout. Sentry wards being popped by Milk. Has a pipe to boot. My god. This is a ridiculously farm gen, especially only 28 minutes in. Beat is warding it up as well. Just sentries and observers. Realization has only one ward on the map just because of the constant counter warding by EG. Are pretty much playing essentially blind. Here comes Jail, level 16 with that Ice Dragon Breath. The racks are going to take fall. Here comes Bambo trying to skewer, get reverse plated. Only gets reverse plated on Demon. Unfortunately for him, skewer went a little bit too far as you can't cast during skewer anymore. And I think Sexy Bambo might have forgotten that, might have mistimed that, but the skewer went way too far. And that's going to mean Luna's death, that's going to be Magnus's death, and that's going to be the game. EG taking it with a flare, picking up a sniper, but the hero of the game was the Lycanthrope, showing that, again, he is still very, very powerful in the right strategy. So EG gonna take this match of the defense 3. I mean, 16-13, but still, it seemed pretty convincing in less than 30 minutes. And We As Asian, unfortunately, gonna take the fall, continuing their struggling streak recently. They've had some bad luck. Hopefully they can turn around. Definitely one of the nicest teams in the business. So hopefully they can turn it around and show that teams from nowhere can still make a huge impact. But unfortunately, with 3 stands this game, they are going to be thwarted in that endeavor, at least for now. But EG showing that, alright, we took a bit of a break because there weren't any tournaments to play in, but we're still just as deadly as ever. So thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting me. Happy New Year's, everybody, and I will be bringing you more casts very, very soon. Gonna try to do 1 cast a day for quite a while, so spread the word. Spread your friends. Gonna at least do one a day until the end of January. That's gonna be my resolution, and possibly even longer. Gonna try to do as many casts as possible. But thank you for watching, and have a fantastic night.